Shh. Okay. They're gone. Are you okay?
What's gone? What's gone? What was there? What's going on?
I, you've been kidnapped by bokoblins. I, I think you fell out of my tree earlier and woke me up. They tied you and brought you here. You've been bound and blindfolded. I'm sorry I can't do much right now, but I'll be back in just a moment to check on you.
A slight twinkling sound was heard, and then nothing but the drums in the background and the guttural snarls of the bokoblins in the distance. Avalon wondered to himself what was going on.
It's so dark. What am I gonna do? My Choba, please. Please see me through. Please see me through as you have centuries past. Oh, oh boy. I can't see anything. I have to stay calm. Oh boy. Okay. Okay, nothing can be solved. What is that?
The twinkling sound returned, and so did the tiny voice that had been whispering in Avalon's ear for who knows how long.
I'm back. They've run off for a moment. We might have some time. I'm sorry I can't do much. Well, you can't see me. Hold on. Now that they're gone, I can take a chance.
All of a sudden, Avalon's vision returned, although it was dark now, and only the moon above illuminated through the forest canopy. Avalon was inside a small cage. His hands and feet were still bound, but he was now able to look around. In the distance, he could see the fire burning from the bokoblin camp. He could hear their shouts and snarls. He could hear their drums and their terrible trumpets, but he knew, at least for now, he felt safe.
What's your name?
Avalon.
Avalon. Yes, Avalon. Yes, that's it. My memory, it's, did I ask your name? Avalon. Yes, Avalon. My name is, oh no. As you can clearly see, I'm a fairy.
Yes, Avalon could see, flying before him, a creature of legend. Something that should not have existed, much like the legend of Zelda itself, now buzzed around his head like a firefly. But this was no firefly. This was indeed a small creature, not a child, not a tiny Hylian, not an n.c.p.c.c, but a small, apple-sized creature with tiny glowing wings that flittered around and whispered in his ear. Avalon thought he might be going mad, but talking to a fairy was certainly better than the fate of the bokoblin camp.
Well, give me but a moment. The fires, they burn my eyes from being blinded. You're a fairy?
Yes. My kind, hundreds of years ago, we were put into a deep sleep.
I remember a name. It, g- 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 no? Goron? Is Goron? Is a Goron a person?
There's Goron is a race, I believe.
A,
The years past I have stumbled upon.
a race. So not a person named Goron, but a race of many Gorons. Oh, so that's not the G. No. Oh boy. I've been asleep for so long. I hope the memories come back. Well, we must get you out of this cage. I think I might have found something, but I wanted to get your blindfold off first so you could get your eyesight back. I'll be back in just another second. I think I might have found something in their treasure chest. The fairy disappeared into the darkness again, this time returning much quicker. In its tiny hands, it held something about half its size, a small hourglass. It set the hourglass down in front of Avalon, although the fairy knew that Avalon could do nothing with his hands currently bound. Can can you try to get out of the bounds? I'm sorry I'm not strong enough. I can maybe try and find something to cut it with, or I could try chewing on it.
Combined with me using my force, maybe perhaps that could work.
Being a potion maker, Avalon had spent many years in the wilderness, camping, traveling. His skills in the wild were advanced compared to many of his fellow citizens. So, once gaining control of his senses and orienting himself, he began to try to free himself from the knots. He
It's not
was
as hard.
he was
It's not.
reminded that as his mind raced, that he had never been in a situation like this. While he had camped before, he had never been in an encampment, and his mind flayed, and he couldn't remember any of his knots from his training. The sounds of the bokoblin shrieking in the background, their terrible trumpet, and the sound of their death drums rattled his mind. But he thought this is what he was here for. He wasn't here to make potions. He was here to learn new skills. He had left the Zora domain to come to this place to teach others of the old ways, but that he must also learn something himself. And he found something deep inside, the courage to look forward. He started rubbing the bindings against the bars, and in mere moments he figured out a new way to get out of knots, not by untying them, but by unfraying them. His hands free, he then quickly unbound his feet, although now he saw that the fires of the bokoblins were beginning to come closer.
Oh no. What can I do? I must make haste. There must be something I can do. Fairy?
Avalon tried to pick at the lock on the cage, although without the proper tools, he wasn't able to make any progress. The fairy went around and began pulling on the lock as well, also unsuccessful. I, can you pick a lock? If I could find something, would you be able to maybe try to pick it?
It's not as if I have a choice.
I guess.
Please.
Okay. Hold on. I'll be back as soon as I can. Oh no. Oh boy. They're getting closer. I can hear the drums getting closer now. All right. Okay. I'll be right back. Don't move. Don't draw attention. They might not see you. They probably think that you're still tied up. So just stay real still, and I'll be back as soon as I can. All right. Bye. I'll be back, Avalon. Right. Yes, Avalon. Yes, that's your name. I remembered. Avalon. I'm sorry. I'll be back. The fairy flew off into the darkness again. although Avalon began to get nervous. The fires had grown, and it looked like perhaps they weren't just celebrating with the fire, but were perhaps making the fire for their next meal. And it appears that Avalon might be the one on the menu. As those thoughts drifted through his head, the fairy returned. I think I found something. She placed a small hairpin into Avalon's hand, and he began to pry at the lock.
Okay, just stay calm. I can do this.
He heard a click, but it wasn't quite enough. He was going to have to try a little more. He reached into himself and called the courage to proceed.
My Chuba Chuba, please see me through this.
With another click and a prayer to his god, the lock opened, and the door slowly creaked open, making not a sound, because the drums were loud enough to overpower the sound of the cage opening. It's open. Okay, here, follow me, but be real quiet, okay?
Okay.
Following the slight glow of the fairy, Avalon followed behind. He tried to be silent, and remembering when he would a time when he was looking for ingredients for an elixir, and he knew that there was a deer that would lead him to a mushroom for this prized potion, but he also knew that the deer, if scared, would run off, and he would have to wait another year or two before finding it again. Having that memory set in his side, he quietly crept away from the camp and into the darkness, the bokoblins shrieking, preparing for their meal, not knowing that it had escaped into the darkness. I think, okay, come on, keep going. I think if we keep going this way, I don't know if they'll notice, but we'll have to get out of here soon, because they are going to eventually go to that cage and see that their dinner's gone. Where do you have any idea where we're at?
It doesn't matter. We just need to make distance between us and them.
Okay, that's a good idea. Yes, I agree. Looking up through the canopy, Avalon tried to note the position of the moon and the stars. He once again went into his notebook of survival that had gotten him so far over the years.
Lucky I still have this on me.
The canopy was thick, and he was reminded how out of place he was here in the woods. His mind suddenly drifted to the small camper that he had gone chasing after into the woods to begin this journey. What had happened with them? The screams? He wasn't sure. Did they get back to the camp? Were they still out there in the woods? But he found himself renewed with a new energy. He prayed and he thought to his God for a sign. And at that moment, above the canopy, straight ahead, a light, a shooting star shot above and pointing him at least in a direction. Whether it was the right one, he'd never know until he followed it. Did you see that, Avalon?
Yes, I did. Is it but a sign or a bad omen? It matters not. We must trek forward, or stay here and meet a certain end.
I agree. Let's go. It went that way. Avalon
Right behind you.
and the fairy began following the streak across the sky, although in the background they heard the shrieks and the trumpets of the bokoblins as they realized that their dinner had indeed gotten away. As they followed the night sky, they heard the drums of the bokoblins getting closer and closer, for the bokoblins knew their way in this land where Avalon and the fairy did not.
Well, they obviously have the lay of the land that we don't. We have to keep away from them at all cost.
I know. Maybe I there was an inscription on that hourglass. I don't think it's just a regular hourglass, but it was in a language I couldn't read. Do you want to try and read it?
The fairy began to glow just enough for a small illumination to allow Avalon to look at the hourglass.
Wait, what is inscribed on here? Let me see.
Avalon began looking over the hourglass. He could see it was indeed inscribed, but his glasses, oh, his glasses, that he needed to read the small print, a reminder of the joke of his middle age. He patted around himself and realized he had forgotten to bring his belongings with him, and they were back in the cage in the bokoblin village. He was out here with nothing but himself and the hourglass and the small script that he couldn't read. In the distance, the drums grew louder as the delay had allowed the bokoblins to get closer.
Oh, yeah, okay. Forget the hourglass.
The fairy dimmed her light.
Let's get going again.
Okay, I'm right behind you.
Avalon and the fairy picked up their pace, but they were no match for the speed of the bokoblin warriors. They could see the flames flickering behind them as they tried to continue to make their way through the forest without being seen.
No, we're gonna be spotted by their fires.
All right, here, quick. Get behind here.
Okay.
Following the fairy behind a small tree, they allowed the bokoblins to pass by. The fairy led Avalon further into the darkness, away from the bokoblins.
This seems familiar. I don't know why. Deku. No. Is that what is it? What does Deku mean something?
Deku was a term I haven't heard in the years past. I'm sorry. I am but blink on it right now.
No, it's all right. It's just my memories. Something this way. Deku. Just think about Deku.
As the fairy focused on the word Deku, she continued deeper into the darkness and away from the drums, repeating the strange word that neither of them seemed to recognize.
Deku.
What?
I don't know how to focus on that while I try to avoid them.
I think it's this. No, wait. Where are we?
The fairy and Avalon looked around. The canopy had enshrouded everything. There were no more stars. There was no moonlight. The Deku, whatever that was, had led the fairy astray.
Oh no.
In fact, even the fairy's light couldn't be seen. It was darker than when Avalon had the blindfold on.
I might have taken us in the wrong direction, Avalon. You got any ideas?
What ideas? Well, we are not doomed quite yet. But first, though, we must stay calm. And first, the hourglass. Hmm. Damn it all, I wish I had my glasses. Let's attempt to see again to the light we were following before.
I'm shining as bright as I can, but I can't see anything. What do you have the hourglass in your hand?
Yes.
Maybe say a prayer to it? I'm really not. Oh boy, the drums are getting louder. Oh no. Oh boy. They could now see the fire approaching. The trumpets of war got louder. This way! No! Wait! This way! Oh no! Avalon! I think. Oh, we're surrounded.
Go away, damn you!
Just as Avalon and the fairy thought they were about to meet their end, flaming across the sky in a giant arc came several arrows, striking the bokoblins directly in the chest. They began to fall one by one as arrow after arrow flew through the air from beyond in the darkness. Realizing they were meeting a certain defeat, the remaining bokoblins ran off, dropping their weapons behind and shrieking into the darkness. A crunching sound let Avalon and the fairy know that there were at least one person approaching, but perhaps more, as a light from the arrow tip as the flaming arrow came into view. Avalon and the fairy saw a Goron holding a giant hammer, and next to him was a Rito with a bow, arrows aflame, wearing light armor. He looked around and then bowed. Oh, hello there. My name is Beltron. This big ol' lug is Thorno. And who might you be?
Hello, much gratitude. My name is Avalon.
Avalon. Ah, hello, Avalon. And what is that little twinkly light around your head? Is that? Why, it is a little fairy friend. Haven't seen your kind in a while. Did you just suddenly wake up from your little nap? You know about the nap? Oh, I certainly do. But something else I know is that our services are not free. You see, we roam these parts where the Republican Guard does not. And if they had been here, would you have been in this trouble? I don't think so. And because we are not paid by tax dollar services, we must, unfortunately, ask for a fee for our services. So I'm quite certain that one or both of you, between the two of you, have the 1,000 rupee fee for our services. Yes?
1,000 rupees?
That's...
Everything among me was lost when I was kidnapped.
Oh, that is unfortunate. However, Thorno and I are not bandits or brigands. We're not scallywags or ruffians. We are private military contractors, and we will gladly make you a deal and allow you to pay off your 1,000 rupees after servitude with our camp over the next 6 months. Yes?
Servitude. Well, it beat death. It beat certain death.
Ah, yes. This is true. It does beat certain death because we will gladly, if you cannot pay and do not wish to repay us back by service at our camp, we can simply allow the bokoblins to return to where we found them. With that, Thorno and Beltron turned around and began to disappear back into the darkness.
No. I think I would be okay with working off that debt.
The fairy began flying after the two private military contractors, as they called themselves, leaving Avalon standing with his mouth wide open.
There's just nothing I can do except go forward. Let the pieces fall as they may.
Resolving himself to paying off the debt from these two fine private military contractors, Avalon began sloughing off after the fairy Thorno and Beltron, knowing that he might not know where he was going, but at least they did.